How's it going, everybody? Vegeta saying, what is good to all my Super Saiyan homies? And I'm here to talk about the doozy of a chapter that was Chapter 66. Because, let's be honest, folks, this chapter, while it didn't entirely make up for Chapter 65 and Goku giving Moro a Senzu Bean, it certainly made it a bit more bearable. Let's be honest. Because I have to say, I'm so excited to see this chapter animated. There are some panels that were just gorgeous, and I'm so excited to see them. So anywho, let's kind of. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I jump into it, I do want to say one thing. So the last couple of weeks have been really rough for me and my family. We've had a couple of incidents go down, a couple of deaths in the family, a couple other things go on. It's just been a really somber time for me and my family, and I want to say to everybody who reached out after seeing my stories up on Instagram and sent well wishes, I really do appreciate it. You guys really mean a lot, and you know, it's been a major. You guys have been a major support source to help me get through everything that's going on in my life right now. So thank you to all of you. Going forward, let's talk about the chapter. This chapter did some interesting stuff because in last chapter, you know, we got to see Planet Moro become a thing, which for me was really cool. I really enjoyed it just because that's a new level of scale of villain for Dragon Ball. You know, we get Goku fighting on literally a planetary level. You know, he's fighting a planet-sized being because they've absorbed Earth. You know, and we see him absorbing ki from every living Earthling on the planet. Like this is getting pretty stakesy. We know from the last chapter that if they blow up Moro himself, it's not only going to blow up, you know, the Earth, but it's going to blow up the galaxy, which isn't the entirety of the universe, but you know, it's certainly something. It's certainly a lot. So we kind of see at this point, we see Goku kind of, you know, fending off as best he can. You know, he's blocking these planet-sized fists. You know, with his feet, with his hands. He's jumping out of the way of the dick fist for everybody, you know, who's seen that floating around. You know, just doing his thing and holding up pretty well for that matter. Which made me a little annoyed about something a little bit a couple of pages later, because we then see, you know, we see Beerus and Whis talking to them. Whis kind of has a solution to the whole problem. He thinks he knows what he can do, or what Goku can do to take care of everything. He's got a plan, you know, he's going to take care of it. Beerus at this point is kind of like, you know what, I need to handle this myself, because like losing a whole galaxy is going to be, it's not going to look good to the other gods, especially if he's not the one who destroyed it. If it was like someone just was like, yeah, you know what, let me destroy like your galaxy. So I think that was what he meant by it's not going to look good if the other gods like hear about all this. A lot of people were saying like, oh, it's not going to look good if people like, the other gods hear you saving Earth. I'm truly not sure. But like, I think what he meant was like, it wasn't going to look good on him to like lose an entire galaxy when he's the god of destruction, and he wasn't the one who destroyed it. You know. So that's just my interpretation of it. But just as Beerus is about to join the fray, they get a call from the Grand Priest to pull them away, then kind of discuss what happened with Beerus. Now for me, I gotta say, while it's good that they were pulled away, because I don't think it would have been nice to see Beerus end it all after everything we've gone through with this arc. I will say I'm probably one of the few people who did want to see Beerus get involved with Moro, and then maybe get pulled away from the Grand Priest before he could finish the job. You know, solely because I want to see where Beerus stands right now. There are a lot of people right now who keep saying that, you know, Beerus is, or Ultra Instinct Mastered is stronger than Beerus, and I'd like to see where he stands comparatively to Goku right now. You know, because Goku is very strong. We've seen it. You know, we saw him wipe the floor with Moro just before becoming Planet Moro. And so I'd like to see where Beerus stands right now, because there's part of me that wants to think, and this is just speculation, there's no reason for me to believe this, other than feeling like it would just be in the character's nature, to think that Beerus wouldn't allow for Goku to be stronger than him. You know, like once he saw him master Ultra Instinct, he himself would seek out more power. I can't believe Beerus to be the type of character to let someone surpass him and then let that just be, you know, let that be the case. Anywho, moving forward, we see the two of them go, or we see Beerus is about to go, and we see Whis come down, block Moro's punch with a finger because he's a freaking just on another level. Like the angels are clearly on their own freaking category. I mean, Whis is just on a whole different level. But we see him block off Moro's punch and tell Goku that he can do it by destroying the crystal. And then Goku does the one thing that pisses me off more than anything else in this arc, more than him giving Moro the Senzu Bean, and that is he starts questioning if he's strong enough to defeat Moro. And I gotta say, I am so pissed by this, because when have we ever seen Goku question his own strength? When have we ever seen him sit here and go, oh geez, am I really good enough? You know, other than with Cell when he was like, yeah, nope, I don't think so, you're up, Gohan. And even at that, he wasn't even questioning himself. Like, there's a lot of debate with all that. There's even some debate as to whether or not Goku could have defeated Cell. I am personally of the school of thought that he couldn't have, but that is just me speak at the time, and that is just me. Anywho, this just drives me nuts, because it's like, we saw him wipe the floor with Moro before this. It's literally just a matter, like, we see him even holding up toe-to-toe, you know, with everything that's going on right now. For him to sit here and be like, I'm not strong enough, I can't do it, it's just like, dude, come on, really? It drove me absolutely nuts. But then we cut over to Vegeta and the rest of the Z Fighters, and then we get something that, you know, I really enjoyed. We get Vegeta kind of having some big brain plays, because he's the one who kind of puts two and two together and realizes that everybody's getting drained because they're standing on Earth. It's because their feet are on the ground that they're losing all their feet. So he tells everybody to jump off and then charges in with the critical assist, because let's be honest here, without Vegeta, Goku wouldn't have won this fight. It wouldn't have happened. We see Vegeta show up, we see him start doing Force Spirit Fission to start weakening Moro and kind of make him a bit more bearable for Goku to fly around and deal with. We start seeing Goku fly through all these different tentacle arm things, whatever you want to call them, and just blasting through, you know, different pieces of them, like they're paper mache. I mean, some really great looking panels, some stuff that I'm really excited to see animated. Because, I mean, again, just seeing him bob and weave through all these different tendrils and blast through them like they're nothing. You know, it was just some great paneling, and like even then seeing him getting caught like right up in Moro's face, and just like seeing the smug look on Moro's face, just some really great work. At this point, we kind of see everybody else come to join the fray. Yamcha even kind of suggests running from the situation and just using Super Dragon Balls to bring stuff back, but they'll probably be put at risk if you know, the galaxy blows up and they won't be able to do anything about it. So we then have Gohan suggest as the walking exposition that can Force Spirit Fission be used reversely as Force Spirit Fusion, I guess? It's fission and fusion, right? When you do nuclear stuff? I think that's where that comes from. Anyway, so they essentially become a battery, and Vegeta becomes a charger, and they send over all their ki to Goku and prove something very crucial to the story that I think everybody took for granted a couple of chapters ago. Goku doesn't have mastery over Ultra Instinct, because we see that with all this ki that he's given, he's only able to jump in to Super Saiyan Blue. He's not able to push past. You know, Vegeta's like, what? Why are you only going blue? You know, and I think that's really important to note, is that, like, Mastered Ultra Instinct needs a trigger. There needs to be something to push Goku over the edge for it to activate. Whether it's, you know, another source of ki, because, I mean, we saw the first time he went to the Ultra Instinct sign, before he even, you know, knew what Ultra Instinct was, he got hit with the Spirit Bomb and absorbed all that ki. And yes, he's got mastery of that now. We know he can, at will, go into sign. we haven't seen him willingly go into Mastered. Mastered has been triggered by other things, you know, whether it was the rising stakes of the Tournament of Power and the potential loss of Universe 7, or the rising stakes now of losing, you know, the Earth yet again. So I think that's pretty important to note, that it's not something he can just freely go into. So at this point, we kind of see Jacko be like, all right, you know what, I gotta take care of something. Telling Dende, we have them telling Dende to get everybody up on the lookout to send their key over, and we even get Goten and Trunks showing up, which, by the way, this was another thing that pissed me off, because it was kind of like one of those things of like, they didn't even need to be there. And especially with the whole idea that like, no one even told them what was going on. Like, how is it that 17 went to join the fray and no one told them what was happening? Like, come on, this is just further proof in my hatred for Goten, and that Goten is truly just a waste of ink and paper. It just, I don't know. I mean, even Kid Trunks for that matter. Like, Future Trunks is one of my favorite characters. He introduced me to the franchise, and like Kid Trunks is just like merp. Like, sometimes it's just like, come on. I don't know, man. It was just one of those things. Like, I mean, hell, why couldn't they have joined, and why couldn't we see Gotenks? Why couldn't Gotenks make an appearance? That's neither here or there, though. I'm gonna digress. I'm gonna move on. We see all this, and it's just not enough. And we see Jacko be like, "Yo, where's Boo?" And this to me, I was kind of like, okay. I didn't quite know where they were going with it at first. And then we get something absolutely magical that happened. We get something that wasn't spoiled for us. It wasn't in the leaks, as far as I saw at least. We got the return of Oob, and it was so well done. It was so perfect because it didn't ruin anything for the last 3 episodes of DBZ. Like, and it acknowledged that basically it wasn't going to be retcon, or at least if there was some level of retconning, they were going to at least stay fairly true to the original source material. So it enhances that, but it then also gives Goku a little bit more of a hunch about Oob being strong. He now knows that there's someone in Universe 7, or on Earth for that matter. He now knows that there's someone on Earth with this kind of power, with this kind of God Key to be enough to push him into Ultra Instinct. I mean, we all thought that Oob's key that Vegeta sends over, we thought it was the Genki Dama. We all thought it was a Spirit Bomb. And instead, it ended up being Oob's key. And honestly, as much as I would have loved to see Vegeta throw a Spirit Bomb, I like this even more because it really does give some nice relevance to Oob and doesn't retcon anything, doesn't really ruin anything or take away from anything. It calls back to the beginning of this arc. It calls back to the end of DBZ. It was so well done, and it didn't take away from anything that we've already been given in the series. So I really want to applaud Toyotaro on this one, because while he may not be the best at coming up with original material and draws a lot of inspiration from things, he is really, really good at piecing things together from Dragon Ball. It's clear that he touches this series with a lot of love and a lot of care and a lot of input. And this chapter was like a really nice balance between, nostalgia as well as kind of new ideas, as well as kind of listening to the fans and listening to Toriyama and listening to Shueisha and just blending all of those thoughts and ideas together and putting them together to truly make something special that people actually like and care about. So after this receival of Ki, we get Astral Projection Goku, or Susanoo Goku, as people have been saying. No, it's not a ripoff of Naruto. Susanoo is from Japanese folklore, so it's not like Naruto's original with that themselves. Anyway, moving on. We get this, and we get him jumping out, blasting the crystal with a nice 1-2 punch. We see Whis' little smile. We get this big explosion and crater. We get a nice little thumbs up from Goku, telling us that the main battle is over. I gotta say, I really enjoyed this chapter. There were a lot of stuff that I would look at the panels and I just had a big smile on my face. And that's you know, that's really all I can say is that, like, there were a lot more things that made me go, wow, that's really cool. Then went, come on, really? So I really appreciated this chapter. I think it did a lot for the franchise, let alone the arc, let alone the character of Goku, I guess. Oh, the other thing I didn't touch on was Goku's apology. Because while he's tangled up just before he goes back into Super Saiyan Blue, just before he goes back into Ultra Instinct, he does apologize for everything. He does openly admit that he done goofed. This is rare for Goku. I don't think he's ever apologized. I think the closest we've ever gotten to an apology was him being like, nah, don't bring me back with the Dragon Balls. I think it's better if I stay dead, because all the evil people seem to just want to fight me. I think that's the closest we've ever gotten. And so to see him actually be like, yo, I'm sorry, I done goofed, was really nice to see. So yeah, overall, really enjoyed this chapter. I'm curious to see how they're going to wrap it up in the next chapter, because I really want to see what happens with the Grand Priest. And I'm personally expecting Moro to pop out of the crater. I'm expecting him to pop out, not strong enough to fight, but at least be dragged off to Galactic Prison, just because that's kind of how Dragon Ball do. I'm not expecting some type of definitive end like with Cell or with Zamasu. I'm truly kind of expecting a Frieza-style, Buu-style ending where it's like, it's kind of open-ended that there may be some potential for him in the future. But that's just me. You know, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.